Thank you all for joining me and welcome back to Manor Lords. So this is going to be a slightly different video. We're going to be looking at a pre-release. I've actually switched over to the pre-release. If you want to do that and check out the actual patch notes, you can do. Just be careful and just make sure you save, back up your saves because obviously it could cause some issues. So that's what I've gone and done. We'll probably go back to that after this video, go back to the old one. And continue from there. So there's quite a lot in this update. I'm not going to be able to cover everything, but I'm going to go through the main points of what's actually changed. You could probably see some things already just from looking at this now. So one of the first things he's done is the rate of Hildebolt claims. Now, if we go to the map here, let's have a look. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button here, sorry. So if we look here, so if we go to here, look. Now, if it says 2,000, that means it's actually been claimed. So obviously you would have to fight them. Yep, and 2,000 there. So as you can see, all of these have been claimed. There was only one that wasn't claimed. I think Gold Off, I had to actually fight someone for it. But yeah, you get the idea here. And yeah, so that's actually been changed. It was pretty quick, actually, how quickly they actually got taken out. I think there is a way of doing it with the bandits. I know some people have mentioned that, where if someone's making a claim, you can go out and take the bandits because that's what they do, and that kind of stops the claim, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully that will actually make things a little more balanced when it comes to this, because otherwise you're just going to be it's going to be quite tough, although it's not too bad with the actual battling, to be honest with you. Okay, so that's that. Let me just go back to T. There we go. Okay, so we got homelessness. We have got homelessness for some reason. Right, I need to sort that out, don't I? Yeah, but we're going back to the old saves. The famous non-people spawning in huge numbers and refusing to do any work. I don't think I've noticed that. It might have actually happened. I just didn't notice it. The clogged trading posts. I know people have complained about that as you get later on into the game because the actual carts and stuff like that get stuck because there's too many of them going back and forth, especially when you've got multiple trading posts. The game being stuck at the summary screen after a victory and game over. I've not got that far, but I know people have had issues with that where they've actually completed the game, but they wanted to carry on playing, but then it kept popping up, which got annoying, and they had to keep choosing it again. So that's been fixed, and that will be fixed when it actually goes over to the actual live one. So a very weak archer damage. I've noticed that as well. It was very, very weak. I believe in the demo, it was a bit over the top from what I've heard. I did play a little bit of the demo, but I didn't really get that far with the battling. It was just mainly the city building that I was looking at and how it all worked and stuff. But the next one is the inefficient saw pits, which also triggered genetic storage full problem banners. Now, this one, I know a lot of people complained about this. Now, I think I know what the issue was. It was mainly due to the fact that you could only store one log. Now, I know someone mentioned that your construction reserve, you can actually do that, and I've actually tried that on another playthrough I'm doing, and it didn't do anything. It didn't really work, and I've tried it on others. But as you can see here, we've now got a storage log of 5 out of 5. So that should help with it because it only had one. So and a lot of the times I'd see 2 or 3, and there was only enough room for one. So that's what's been changed. So hopefully that will actually fix that. And that'll make it more efficient because all the others have got more storage. It's just the actual saw pit that just had one storage slot. So that was hopefully fix the issue there. And as you can see here, we've got some logs here that have been stored up here. This is a lot better. I think what happened though, if you've got one log there and then they add another log there, I think that stopped the production and that's what's causing the problem. At least that's my opinion on it and what I think was happening, and that's why he's added extra storage to it, which makes more sense. Okay, so let's have a look at what else we've got here. So problems with optimizations in large cities. Still some work to be done there. Inefficient marketplace supply. Now that would be obviously with the way the marketplace works. So if we look at this now, look, say at the moment on this one, I think I had some issues with this, with one of the houses, but as you can see here, obviously we're on the pre-release and every house has actually got enough there. Now you do need a certain amount. I think it works, if I'm not mistaken, I think it works on the house, how many houses, although I think someone did comment saying that you need a minimum of 30 for it to cover everything But does that include when you get more houses and stuff like that? I don't know. I've not really looked into that deep, but I do know that it's nothing to do with the distance. You can have this anywhere, and it doesn't matter whether the houses are over here or right next to it. They will still get it. It just goes to the nearest house first, and then obviously goes there. But as long as there's enough of the actual stuff to actually cover each house, then you should be good. And as you can see, we've got 39 leather, we've got 39 yarn, and we've got 39 shoes. So that's enough for, obviously, that's actually enough for 57 houses there. Okay, cool. And we've also got the fuel there, so that's at 100% as well. But we have got the charcoal now, so that's a lot more efficient than the actual firewood as well. And then the food, we're having a slight issue with that. We're only at 96%. I think it's these houses here. And I believe that's because of the berries, because we've only got 16. So, but I have, in fact, I've got enough for 3 lots of food there. And there's only 2 lots of food. So obviously it hasn't got to that house yet. But because we've got 39 meat, we've got 39 vegetables and 25 honey. Although it could be the honey because we need 30. So if we got 30, then that would cover those as well, I would have thought. Problems with farming, like crops erasing in the winter and inefficient harvest. Now, I noticed that in the last video and I didn't know what was going on. So we're going to go and check that out now. Now, I've actually got 3 fields here that are all being rotated. And same here. That's actually wheat and this is actually barley. Now, on the last video, you would have noticed near the end, we actually got into winter, and this actually got redone. It's like it wasn't even done before, and this one as well. So that's been fixed as well, and also the efficiency of the amount for the yield and everything that you get from the actual crops as well has been changed. So hopefully that's actually sorted that out. People and all livestock staying homeless, even though there is living space in the settlement. I don't think I've ever come across that. Now, the next one is overly high ale consumption. Now, yeah, they were using a lot of ale, but technically back in that day, in those days, obviously, medieval times, I would have thought they would have used a lot of ale. I think there would have been a high consumption of ale anyway. But we need to get that balance right, just so, because otherwise it's just we're going to be chasing it constantly all the time. So the next thing is the trading. Now, this is where I think he's gone from one extreme to another, unless it's just me, but there is, if we find where the trade post is here, now, I've not checked this out yet, so this has actually been changed now, so establishing a new trade route costs 50% less, okay? So that was completely different before. It was 25 coins, it was a maximum of 25 coins it would cost, and then obviously you got this one, reduces the foreign import tariff by half, which makes trading the free merchants far more profitable. Okay, well, hopefully. But when I actually quickly looked at this before I started the video, I went into here and I actually checked out the trading. I mean, obviously we're fully established with this one, with this town, but if we look at how much it's going to cost to open up the trades. Now, you've got the minor ones where you don't necessarily need to actually pay for it. But look at the price of this. 4,880. I think that's going from one extreme to another. It really is, because you do need to have these major trade routes. You do need to actually purchase before you can actually trade on there as well. And we'll go across we'll come to those ticks in a minute, and I'll tell you what those are. But I think that's going from one extreme to another, because if you're just starting out now, usually the trade routes are a little bit cheaper as you're starting out. They get a lot more expensive, so I don't know how much it'll be when you're starting out. But if it's anything like this, that's going to be tough. I mean, obviously you don't want it to be too easy, but at the end of the day, you want to be able to open up trade routes. So let's have a look at all this here. Look, so yeah, that's well expensive. I mean, I haven't even got that, and my finances are okay. Yeah, I would struggle with that. Luckily, I've got these already sorted out. So yeah, you guys will have to let me know what you think. Do you think that's a bit excessive there? Obviously, it's early access. This is kind of the first patch that's not gone live yet, that's been tested. And there's always going to be issues with balancing with these kinds of games. So it's just getting the balance right. So I think he's gone from one extreme to another there. But that's only my personal opinion. Some of you might disagree, which you're fine to do so. But in my opinion, I think he's gone from one. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. It was really cheap to be able to buy these for 25. And then when you've got like this amount of money here, it was easy enough to open the trade routes. But this is a bit too much, I think, in my opinion. But hey-o, there we go. Additionally, to make trading between regions easier, I made sure that the players can use trading posts to trade between their own regions without using barter pack stations. So instead of using the pack stations, I don't know whether he's took that out of the game with this. We can actually use this instead. So if you look at this, for instance, if we allow foreign trade, by turning this setting off, you tell your workers to only trade between the regions on the map and ignore trade points and free merchants. So you guys will have to let me know what you think to the trade anyway. I think that's gone from one extreme to another, that's for sure. I don't mind a bit more of a challenge, obviously, city builder and stuff like that. You want to make sure that you can actually, you know, as long as you're efficient with it, then it should work out. But that, to me, is a bit extreme. Trade-related development branches were nerfed drastically because players argued that it made the game too easy, which is kind of true. But like I say, I think it's gone a bit too far. It's gone from one extreme to another. But hey-ho. Now, there is a mourning period. I don't think we've got that on here because I don't think anyone's died. But there is now, which just makes it realistic, there is now a mourning period. Whenever a person dies, there is a 30-day mourning period that blocks growth. You can now preview this in the building panel of the Burgage plot or by pressing tab. So let's just press tab. I don't think there is any that are... Sorry, I've got to keep switching to each screen when I'm reading this. So let's press tab and see if there's anything being mourned, which there isn't. Yeah, there isn't, but that would show up. I think it's in red. And I think it shows up at the top. Let's just click on one, I'll show you. It shows up at the top here and it says morning days left, 28, 30 days or whatnot. So it'll show up here. And so there'll be no growth with that actual Burgage plot because obviously they're morning, which is fair enough. They've also added the animation. I don't know whether you used the corpse things with the church. Obviously you've got the church for your own people and the corpse pit when it's the enemy corpses. So obviously you have to clear that up, otherwise you're going to have some issues. And yeah, it's actually been added with the animation of them actually carrying the corpses as well. Right, let's just quickly see what else there is. New upgraded retinue armor variations were added. I've not really looked into the armor yet. We have got retinue. I think I had a few died actually on the last battle. We've also got, let's have a look. Yeah, he's also re-implemented a mechanic called annual royal tax or king's tax. Still decided on the name. It's a tax that is collected from the treasury once per year, goes to the king. That is collected per resident, and it should slightly punish bad workplace optimization and make it more difficult to hoard huge amounts of cash. I think that's a good idea. So you can actually see at the top here, look. So you can actually see at the top here, look. You've actually got the annual royal tax. So yeah. So days left until collection 342. So obviously that's an annual, obviously, because it does say annual royal tax, of course. And that tax policy is to increase treasury. Also, the granary has now got, let's just see if we can check that out. Where is that? Granary. I don't think I've got an upgraded granary here or that. But the actual doors and that, yeah, we haven't got the upgraded granary on this. Okay, so a new unit, patron, was added. So let's have a look at this. So this is probably going to be the last one, actually, because there's a massive list of all the changes that have been added. I think I'm going to call it there, guys. I think that's enough information for one day, and I want to move back to the other one. Although our thing's doing okay there, lack of entertainment. That's because of ale. Ale is always going to be an issue, at least to start with. So yeah, so I'm going to move back to the other save because I don't like the way the taxes were. Have we actually got a trade thing here? I think we might. Let me just have a quick look. I think we do have a trade one here. Trade and post. Let's have a look at this one because this is a newly formed. So that's a little bit better. So yeah, maybe get these trade routes open sooner rather than later. Because as you can see, that's a lot cheaper. Although that one's not. And to be honest with you, have we actually got the trade thing on this one? We've got the trade logistics. Yeah, so maybe, I think it's because of how far we are with that other town. That's why it's so high and we'll struggle to get that sorted. But yeah, looking at this now, I think that's actually not too bad. Yeah, that's actually not too bad, is it? That's a bit better than in the thousands. I mean, obviously that's a bit expensive there with 240. So yeah, so now we've got an idea of what it's going to look like closer to the time when you first start, because we've not long had this one. This is the second one we've set up for the farming. Anyway, guys, I am going to call it here. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.